without further ado, I would like to welcome our featured storyteller, Miss Rachelle Wilson.
Yay. I'm really excited to be here. When I was in grad school, there was this guy who served in the Peace Corps in Paraguay, and I'll never forget that because every time he opened his mouth, he started every sentence with, "When I was in Paraguay," Paraguay. I can't say it the way he said it, but I told myself I will not be that person. When I come back from the Peace Corps, I will not begin every sentence with "in Morocco." But when Kevin Bradley from Storytellers asked me to be the featured storyteller tonight, I began to think of topics. He said I could pick the topic, and every topic I thought of, every story started with, "Well, in Morocco one time," and I was like, "Oh, no, I can't do that topic." Finally, I just, you know what, this is my truth, this is my life. I served in Morocco in the Peace Corps, and I'm just going to own it tonight. And so thank you for forgiving the fact that every sentence is probably going to start with "in Morocco." And I'm not pretentious, I promise. And I know every time this guy said it, the first thing I thought was, number one, pretentious. Number two, nobody gives a shit. But you're all here tonight, so I assume everyone gives a little bit of a shit about my story in Morocco. So thanks for coming, and I'm really excited to share with you. So I have to start this off by saying both stories, it's required to understand a little bit about the transportation in Morocco, ergo how I was able to be stranded. So I'm going to go into a little bit of that. My village was named Sidi Rahal, not Rahal, because there's 5 H's in Arabic and one is Rahal. So it took a lot of practice to get that one just right. But it was about 80 kilometers east of Marrakesh, which was the big city there. And so, you know, volunteers in these rural villages often would go to the big cities to get things they can't access in their tiny village of 5,000, whatever. So I would often find myself traversing to Marrakesh to get things like cheese or alcohol or tampons or condoms. Condoms weren't for me. I don't have a dick. And you know, Peace Corps actually gives us condoms. Like the day you get there, the first thing they give you is this medical kit. It's just chock full of condoms and Plan B. Because if you get pregnant while you're in the Peace Corps, they have to cover that child's like natal care and everything, so they don't want anyone getting knocked out. So you know, you have a choice to have sex, but you don't have a choice to have a period. So one of those is a luxury item, and one of those you have to hunt through the city to find, and it's not the condom. So I would go to the city to get the things I needed, and one way to get there was the bus. Very straightforward. Hop on the bus, you go to the city, and in the States, if you had to travel, I guess 80 kilometers is like 60 miles, you would just hop in your car and be there in 45 minutes, right? A little too easy for Morocco. So there, everything's much more complicated. So you hop on a bus, and every 5 minutes your bus is stopping to let people on or off. And this is after you've probably waited 30 minutes for the bus. So what would be a 45-minute journey here takes about an hour and a half on a good day in Morocco. So sometimes you don't want to take a bus if you're in a hurry. So the other way to get to the city would be grand taxis. So we hear taxi, we think of you hail a taxi, you hop in it and go from where you are to where you want to go. Again, too easy for Morocco. So you have to go from your house, you walk to the edge of your village, there's going to be a grand taxi stand. Now grand taxis, every taxi driver has a route where they go from city A to city B, and they're all different. So it'd be like going to Bass Road, to the grand taxi stand. You get there, and then they're all shouting, Forsyth, 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 Milledgeville, Milledgeville, Milledgeville. Warner Robins, Warner Robins, Warner Robins. So you find the one that's going to where you want to go, and you get in that taxi and you go. But again, going straight from my village to Marrakesh, still too easy. So I have to take a taxi from what would be Macon to McDonough, from McDonough to Atlanta. We're all tracking with that? Okay, so really frustrating, very complex, takes a while to learn how to navigate. So now to my story. We're ready? Yes. Okay, so I'm in Sidi Rahal, and I'm with my fledgling love, this guy named Nick. We're falling in love, he's a Peace Corps volunteer, we're so excited and happy to be together. He comes to visit, and all his friends from his cohort, he was a year ahead of me, were in the city, Marrakesh. So they're hitting him up, dude, come through. So he's like, hey, you want to go to the city? Sure. So easy, we hop on a bus, we're there in a couple hours, meet up for dinner. Getting there, so easy. So it's coming time for night, we've got to catch a bus to get back to my village. And his friends are like, dude, stay. We got a hotel, we got some extra rooms, y'all just stay in the city. For some reason, I will never know why, he does not want to stay in the city. He insists on going back to my village. I still don't understand this. So I just say, you know what? I'm going to follow you wherever you want to go, baby. I'm going with you. So we go to the bus station, but there are no buses. I forgot about old time, new time. So in Morocco, another thing that's really quirky, when some people, the time change happens, half the country changes, the other half does not. So when you're making plans, you say, Katie, you want to grab dinner? Okay, what day? What time? Old time or new time? Because some people it's 5 o'clock, other people it's 4 o'clock. So my brain was on old time, the city buses were on new time. So we missed all the buses, it's 9:30, we're in the middle of Marrakesh with no way to get to my village. So I say, Mick, let's just go stay with your friends in the hotel. And he says, no, I really want to go back to your village. We're not going to get there, man. It's the middle of the night, the buses are all gone. I said, well, what about a taxi? So I tell him this, because I know it's my village. I say, Mick, there are going to be no taxis to my village at this time of night. He says, well, let's try. All right, let's try. So we go to the Bass Road of Marrakesh, to the taxi stand, and we find a taxi going to Etourir, which is the McDonough, the middle city, from the city to my village. So we get to the middle point easy enough, right? By the time we get there, it's probably 11. And we get out the taxi, it's pitch black dark, there are no other cars in this taxi stand. And our driver is heading back to Marrakesh with some people he's picking up. And I look at him, I say, are you sure you don't want to go back to the city? There are no other taxis here. What are we going to do if we can't find someone to take us? Oh, no. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. So I look at this guy with love in my eyes and follow his stupidity and say, okay, fine. So next thing I know, I'm standing in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere on this road to my village that has nothing but trees, hitchhiking. And I'm standing there like, you think I would be pissed, right? You think I'd be out there like, what the, man, I told you there'd be no taxis to my village. I know, I've lived here a year. I know when there's taxis and when there's not taxis. I told you this, I told you so. But instead, I'm just laughing and looking at him with nothing but, like cartoons have hearts in their eyes, that was me. We had so much fun, we're out on this road, we're having a blast, and every 15 minutes we kept saying, 15 more minutes and we'll go knock on random doors and see if we can't find some Moroccan lady who's going to take pity on us, lost Americans, and take us in and feed us and house us for the night. But every 15 minutes we'd say, 15 more, okay, 15 more. I really can't tell you to this day what we were talking about, why we were having so much fun. I don't even remember. I just remember loving that moment. And it was always on my bucket list to hitchhike. So, granted, I didn't think it'd be in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of Morocco. But there we were. And sometimes in situations, you don't have to say I told you so because the situation itself is just screaming, I told you so. All you have to do is look at the person and be like, and blink a couple times, So anyhow, we ended up, there was this taxi driver that drove by the first time and he was plastered. And he rolled down his window, where are you going? And we're like, not with you. And we said, Sidi Rahal, and he said, 200 dirham, which to us is like 20 bucks. But we were on Moroccan currency. We were living there, working, and getting Moroccan currency. So that was a lot of money. Normally it'd be like 10 dirham, right? So we look at him, we're like, you're crazy, dude. We're not going for 200. So we keep hitchhiking. Homeboy drives around the village and finds other people who would have gone to Sidi Rahal that night had they had a car. And it comes back like 30, 45 minutes later with other people in the car and says, okay, Sidi Rahal, let's go. Yes, he was plastered, but there was no one else on the road. There was nothing he could have hit, so we got in. And the best part of the story, front door delivery, which never happens in Morocco, right up to my front door. It was beautiful. And the moral of the story is, when you're in love, you do stupid shit. Thank you.